Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome into the RAS College Football Show Week 9. It's going to be a fun show, an exciting show. I'm John Martin, your host, joined, as always, by the man himself, Eddie Walls, who in just a minute is going to have a best bet. Eddie, first of all, how are we doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, hanging in there. We have some housekeeping. Occasionally we have some housekeeping.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people obviously are familiar with Right Angle Sports college basketball. Very exciting news this week. Some changes. Some changes are coming to the RAS College Basketball Service. I've got the details up, as you can see. Some changes in effect this year for 2025. You're going to get a pre-planned full season schedule with upfront pricing, built-in breaks around the holidays, and a usual break that RAS takes from January to late February. But I think this is what really is exciting: later release times. I know that over the years people have said it's too early. It's too early to get around and bet and have myself in position. Well, as you can see here with the release schedule, you're not even going to get a first check-in until 10 a.m. Pacific. So you can see all those details on the website, and also more 1.5 and 2 unit plays. So, maybe some differentiation in terms of, the stronger plays. So very exciting stuff. raspicks.com. Go ahead and get signed up for college basketball this year. I am really, really fired up about the college basketball product this year. All right, Eddie, without further ado, before we get into the Week 9 slate, what is your best bet of Week 9?
Yeah, it's going to be game 141, 142 at 1:30 my time, so 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. It's going to be NC State Pitt over 54.5. I think that we caught a break here. I do a lot of work on coaches, and I do a lot of work on opponents, and I think we caught a break in the fact that Pitt got to play Syracuse without a quarterback last week. The last time we saw NC State, they couldn't do anything against Notre Dame. Pitt was able to play slow last week. They didn't have to get into a shootout like they normally do. I'm impressed by their freshman quarterback. They haven't faced a true passing team for a long time here now. And CJ Bailey and NC State are definitely the makeup of a team that can give an Arduzzi defense that likes to blitz a lot some fits. So yeah, I like the over in that game. I like NC State side too, but it got knocked down to 6.5. I couldn't believe that people were betting Pitt unders like it was 2017 all over again. It's like they forget that Narduzzi, he only passes the ball. He never has a run game. He'll be top 10 in pace at the end of every single year with the offensive coordinator that he has. And NC State was a huge overplay for us at the beginning of the season. And then they got to face some really tough defenses and kind of, got away from their game plan. But they have a top 20 quarterback in college football. He has weapons. I thought this number got bumped down far too low at 54.5.
Yeah, you can see some 54.5 to the juice to the overs are popping up. There are some 55s out there, but still definitely available at 54.5 for Week 9. Again, this is our friends at Odds Logic, obviously the best odds screen in the game. You got Chris, you got Pinnacle, you got Bet Online, you got all the sharpest books here on the odds screen. So there you go, over 54.5 NC State and Pittsburgh. All right, let's get into it, Eddie. Starting with Ole Miss, trying to bounce back after a tough one, not to get that cover on the road at Georgia. Now they go to Oklahoma as 5-point dogs with a total of 54.
Yeah, I played under in this game. I'm surprised it's still at 54. I thought there was some movement today. I like Ole Miss's offense fine, but I saw him play a game similar to this versus LSU in a 20-10 game. I don't trust Oklahoma's offense, but I'll tell you this, I definitely trust their defense. I think they probably have the best defense in college football. I don't know if it's the best, but it's got to be right up there with the Ohio States and stuff. They only have one true, really great wide receiver. Their run game is kind of based upon Mateer scrambling. I had a hard time understanding why Oklahoma was huge favorites here. I mean, 5.5 is a really big number, but I felt more comfortable with playing the under.
Yeah, and honestly, it is. We're going to call it 53. Yeah, so it has moved. You're correct. That was an outdated number here. But yes, it's around. There's 52.5s out there. There's 53s. So, and I don't know. I'm just going to follow up because I had the same thought about the number. I mean, do you think that's just a fade of Ole Miss's defense after they allowed Georgia to score on every possession here in terms of being 5.5-point dogs?
Possibly. I mean, this is a Super Bowl for Ole Miss. If they lose this game, they can't make the playoff because they won't have any wins against ranked opponents. Not unless something super crazy happens in the next few weeks in the SEC. But it looks rather bleak for them if they don't win this game. And same could be said for Oklahoma. If they lose to Texas and Ole Miss, and then they still have a tough slate ahead of them. I don't know where their quality opponent is to where they get into a playoff. So I felt better about the under. I don't think that Venables is going to let Mateer get too loose with the ball against a defense that might be susceptible. Yeah, I felt pretty good with the under.
All right, moving right along. Western Michigan at Miami, Ohio, 1.5 with a total here of 41.5. Eddie.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this game. I asked John to put it up here. I know that not everybody's interested in the MAC, but this is the Super Bowl for the MAC. I think that these are the two best teams. I think that we might see a rematch of them if Toledo doesn't work things out here pretty soon. Buffalo has been largely disappointing. I think they lose a game or two here soon. Western Michigan has probably the best defensive front that nobody talks about in the G5. Miami, Ohio is always built upon defense and offensive line play with Martin. They have a pretty talented quarterback in Finn, but Martin's not going to let him throw the ball a lot in a spot like this. He definitely does not want to trade points with a defense this tough. So, yeah, I played under, and I felt very, very confident in it. It's at 41.5. I got a little better than that, but I would feel fine with it either way.
By the way, I actually think our audience would prefer we talk more MAC, if I'm being honest.
Really?
I think so.
We can talk nothing but MAC and Sun Belt.
The feedback usually, and we started the show 2 years ago, but the feedback usually, Eddie, is that we talk about the big games too much. And obviously there's a reason why we talk about the big games, but people want more of the in the weeds college football. I think we do. I think we give them enough. I do. But if you want to give more, I'm always happy to accommodate.
Hey, I mean, if anybody wants to hear me talk about like CUSA, MAC, Sun Belt, well, maybe not CUSA. CUSA's been awful for me this year. AAC, then I would talk about nothing but those games. But at the same time, I do bet, and I work 60 hours a week. I'm going to look at every single game. Meticulously, and if you want big game breakdowns, then I'm happy to give them at all times. I mean, I kind of live for this sport, so anything that anybody wants to talk about, I'll be more than happy to talk about.
All right, well, be careful what you wish for. All right, Texas A&M on the road at LSU. LSU, I guess, is this is it for them. The end of the road if they lose this game.
Yeah,
A&M -2.5, total of 48.5.
Yeah, I played over a little bit better than this number, but not much. I liked what I saw of Nussmeier last week. He finally looked healthy. I thought that Texas A&M's offense has looked ridiculously good and improved. There's some defensive injuries that are really telling at LSU. Weeks is a major loss for them. Defensive tackles, not a great position for them right now. The only concern I have with this total is the LSU offensive line, but I still felt that this was far too low. We just saw Texas A&M play a game that landed 78. I mean, and LSU just got into a shootout with Vanderbilt, which isn't always easy to do. So I felt pretty comfortable with playing over here. I also leaned LSU, but it's never going to get to the number where I want it. Like you said, I mean, this is their Super Bowl, and you're going to have to let it all hang out. I mean, this staff is in definite jeopardy of losing their jobs if they lose this game. I mean, period. They put way too many resources in this program. For them to have like a 7-5, 8-4 season with the schedule that they had.
This is why betting is hard. This number to me is like why this game is why betting is hard, is because like if you watch LSU, for the majority of the season, you're like, why on earth would I have any interest in betting them? I mean, I just, but it's like home, the proud program, it would not shock me at all. Like we're getting some comments, LSU money line, I get it. This is
second road game in a row going into a bye. I mean, they pretty much got everything sewed up as long as they don't fall flat. I don't know. And LSU, I mean, just to be clear, if you go back to preseason rankings, I had LSU like -6 here. Texas A&M has been out of this world impressive, but they've been impressive at home, and they looked shaky against a bad Arkansas team last week. Not that LSU was looking great against Vanderbilt, but I don't know. I thought that I wouldn't mind LSU money line. Yeah, I think that's better than what I'm looking for. Actually, I'm looking for a 3.5. That's never going to happen. A 3 I would take, but I wouldn't be great about it. I
Right.
just like the over. I mean, the only way LSU can win games, let's face it, is through passing.
Yep.
And Texas A&M's offense has just looked killer to me all season, really.
Yep. All right. Moving right along again. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, make sure you get those in to the chat. Missouri Bandy. This is game day. Vanderbilt -2.5 here with a total of 53.
I did it. I finally bet a Vanderbilt side. I bet Vanderbilt overs. They've been good to me. Utah State specifically. I didn't have to wait long for that one, but yeah, or Georgia State. But yeah, I just like what I see out of Vanderbilt. And I'll tell you this: I like Missouri, and I like what they've done with the program. But I was on under last week in Auburn. I just had a double overtime winner. But I'll tell you, man, I don't like what I see out of their offense, and I don't think that Pribula has an arm. Like I just don't. Like I didn't think that in the preseason. It didn't make a lot of sense to me that, like, Horn broke his foot. And I would have thought that they would have gone with him because he had such a much better arm and a better chance to attack defenses. I like everything going on at Vanderbilt. I mean, they're like the perfect underdog story coming out of nowhere. They can make the playoff. I mean, that's like the most incredible story in college football that nobody's talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lay 2.5, and it's still there at most places. I just like Pavia. I like Clark, and I really, really like Jerry Kill. I think he's the best mind in college football that gets completely overlooked. And how he is not a head coach somewhere. I know he has the epilepsy issues, but I mean, he deserves a big, big job because what he's doing at Vanderbilt, what he did with New Mexico State, and when you look at what New Mexico State's looked like since he's left, in Minnesota, for instance, I mean, this dude just coaches his ass off. And yeah, I like Vanderbilt. I think I'm probably going to end up on Vanderbilt like every week for the rest of the year because I've really just moved their power rankings up and just gotten rid of all the preseason garbage that you read because it's like, oh well, them in Indiana, like they're just bad against they're bad against good teams and they don't have the talent to compete and all this. And it's like, okay, well they have really, really special programs, coaches, and the kids buy into everything that they teach. You can't ask for more than that. So.
Yeah, I thought last week was just a massive step for them because it was the first time that they've been favored over a ranked team. And I mean, I think it's the first time they've ever been favored against LSU ever. And so, right. You just wonder like, all right, this is an absolutely freaking massive moment for this program. And are they going to like meet it or are they going to like wilt under the moment? And they met it. And honestly, that game, I watched the whole game. It was nowhere near as close as that final score indicated. They just punked LSU start to finish. And so that was really impressive. And so I have absolutely no issues with a play on here. All right, let's move on. BYU, Iowa State, 2.5 spread, Iowa State, and then total 49.
I didn't do anything here. I'm pretty much right on the number. It is the worst spot in the world for BYU. You get the Holy War win. You're kind of banged up. A lot of questionables on that injury report, and then you have to head to Iowa State with a bye, coming off of a bye while you're going into a bye. I'm at -3 for Iowa State, and I'm at 48.5 on the total. So a complete pass. I will say this: that no team has surprised me more than BYU. I thought that Retzloff would be a huge loss for them. They lost all their wide receivers in the portal except for one, and he's been killer. And I mean, Sataki does nothing for me as a head coach to feel special, but the dude wins games, and they've been a thorn in my side the last 2 weeks. So I'm happy to pass on this one.
From X, Steve says Temple -5.5.
I mean, you can make a case that Temple is probably the most undervalued team that covers every single game left in college football. I don't know what I saw out of Tulsa last week, but the offense looked a lot better with Micah Tease, the Texas A&M transfer at wide receiver that they didn't have for like 4 weeks. Their offensive line looked better. Unfortunately, they just gave up way too many explosive plays against ECU, and I see that happening against Temple too. I'm right on the number there on the side. I thought that there was value to the over. There is value to the over. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to hide here. Yeah, I mean, Temple's just a straight up over every single week. That's another killer coach that just come in and completely flipped the script, installed an offense with Montana State's offensive coordinator that it looks nothing like you would expect from a Temple program. They pass it well, they run it well, they play it with a little bit of tempo from time to time, they match things up well. This is a very, very weird game, and the fact that Temple is now like I don't, like how long can a team over, like they just keep on going over what my power rankings could possibly make them, and now they're starting to blow people out. So I guess I don't mind the side, but I'm pretty close to the number, and I know some people that think that number is absolutely wild. If you're -10 at Charlotte, and then the next week you're -6 at Tulsa. Tulsa's much better than Charlotte's current state.
Right.
So.
Right. All right, staying in the American. This was going to be a top 25 matchup until Memphis shit the bed against UAB. South Florida coming to Memphis. I don't think it's 5 anymore. I think we need to call it 6.
Okay.
And I don't think it's 59.5 either. I think in the last 15 minutes it's gone to 59 and even some 58.5s. But USF we'll call -6 with a total here of 59.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish that I knew for sure with the Brandon Lewis situation. I just hear differing reports. He was on crutches post game there against UAB. He didn't talk to the press this week. He has been practicing. I read all of that. It just feels like if he was playing, this number wouldn't be 6 and the total wouldn't be dropping this significantly. I mean, it just doesn't really add up for me unless somebody knows something, and I don't know anything. So I'm passing at this number. I played a little USF earlier in the week, but I mean, not at significant amounts when it comes to a Thursday game. Giving out a game. I like Memphis's defense a lot more than USF's defense, and I like USF's offense way more than I like Memphis, and that was with a good quarterback. So I lean USF, but I'm not getting involved at a 5.5 or 6. I know that you're very, very close to this program, so you should be the one talking here.
Well, I think, I don't know, but if he can play, I would expect Brendan Lewis to play. Like sure. if it's just a tolerance thing where it's like if his ankle is not, we don't even know what it is. They just called it a lower body injury. Obviously, it's something related to the foot. And they've called him day to day. So we don't have anything publicly about this. I would just ask you, if he is ruled in, I mean, this thing has gotten way out there. If he is ruled in, what happens to this number? Does it go from 6 to 4? Does it go from 6 to 3? Like, what do you think happens?
I think 4 is probably the stopgap there. Because you still don't know how healthy he is. If Brandon Lewis can't run and it's a lower body injury, that changes a lot. He's not a pocket passer. And USF isn't going to be afraid to just light him up with blitzes. If he can't run, they'll know right away.
Yes.
And I think that the Pack would probably know able to go there in the first quarter to yank him. I mean, AJ Hill is almost a 4-star that is more of a pocket passer. He might be better in this kind of spot.
Yes.
I don't know. I know that there's no way that, if Brandon Lewis, I think this is probably close to peak. If Brandon Lewis gets, knocked, if he's 15 minutes before the game, they say he's out. I don't think it goes above 7. I would be surprised by that. I don't know.
Well, that gets me to what everybody's been waiting for, Eddie.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
It's the best bet of the week by me.
Go ahead.
We're going over. We're going over in this game. There is a 57 out there at Circa. I'm just being overly fair with this current number, and I'm going to give you my reasoning for this. If Brendan Lewis plays, obviously it's not going to close at 58.5. It's going to go up. But even if he doesn't, I think there's still value in this for a couple of reasons. One is there's 2 different quarterbacks they could use. They might use both. But Arrington Maiden is a guy, Eddie, who has a very similar skill set to Brendan Lewis, which means they would use the same package of plays. I don't think they would change up anything they do very drastically. And I think he'd be fine with it. He had that big first down against Arkansas to seal the game. If it's A.J. Hill, obviously he has much higher upside with his arm. And he is a freshman, which means, hey, there might be some pick sixes in there, right? There could be a lot of things. USF has shown that it is capable of scoring 50 on the regular. And so you're telling me that if all I need really here is 35 to 42 from USF, which they do in their sleep generally, I just need, 2 or 3 scores from Memphis, even with a backup quarterback. I mean, they're a run-first team, Eddie. They're not predicated around the quarterback. Obviously, it helps, but they're a run-first team. The only thing I could see that would get this sort of off track would be if Memphis takes a lead for whatever reason, and they really try to play ball control, which they could do without the quarterback, but still, I think USF is going to find a way to get this over. I think Memphis will have some scores as well. So as this comes down, I think I'm just going to have to take the over here, knowing that these two teams can both score. So should be a fun one on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Memphis time. My friend, that's 20 minutes. That's 20 good minutes with you.
That's awesome. All right. I love it. Any questions? Anybody got anything?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of went over them today. I mean, we had, Cole said Silverfield won't show his hand until Saturday morning, which, I mean, he's not going to show his hand until kickoff, until they come out.
Huge game for the program. I get it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if even the New York Jets aren't saying who they're starting between Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor at 0-7, yeah, I don't think Memphis is going to give that out either. Oh, let me ask you about this one, because believe it or not, I'm going to be there on Friday night. Virginia Tech.
What? You're going to Virginia?
I'm going to Virginia. I'm going to the Virginia Tech football game on Friday.
Oh, man, I've never actually been to that. I've never been to that area. I think I've been to Norfolk and Virginia Beach, but I've never been further than that. Yeah, I have a play in that game, I guess. I have under 51. I just keep on playing these Cal unders. I feel like I get fortunate in a lot of them because they can only pass the ball, but their defense is predicated pretty well by Wilcox's system, and I don't like what I see out of drones. So I know that the market steamed it up a little bit, but yeah, I felt like under was a pretty good play there. I mean, you're going the game though. You got to root for Virginia Tech. Period.
I know, but I mean, it's out to 6, man.
I mean, I didn't say bet it. I just said root for it.
Okay, all right. You're right.
You don't have to have a bet because you went to the game. I mean, I guess you can like emotionally hedge and bet like Virginia Tech, and if they lose, then you're like, well, at least I got to go to the game. I don't know. I used to do that with the Rockets. I loved them so much. I would bet the other team, but
we will be Virginia Tech fans. But I mean, that is that all about the travel, the bye week, the new coach combined? That's why this is out to 6.
I mean, no, I don't think so. I think it's just Cal looked really, really pathetic against UNC last week, was extraordinarily fortunate to win. Their quarterback has kind of looked bad the last few weeks. I mean, they only have a defense, and it's mostly bend or break, and eventually it's going to break. So people are just betting on when it will. But yeah, I mean, Virginia Tech's not really great. I wouldn't feel comfortable laying 6.5 personally, but I wasn't exactly rushing to the window to bet Cal at plus 4.5, and I'm definitely not running. I mean, if it gets to 7, then I guess Wilcox is really good as a dog. But yeah, it's not my thing.
Okay, my friend. Well, best of luck to you this week, and we'll be here same time next Thursday.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much, everybody. Good luck and enjoy your weekend.